Hey everyone. So today I'm going to review Win Your Day by Jason Safford. Many people know Jason as Coach J. Now, before I get into the ideas, I want to start in a very simple place. This book is interesting. It actually starts and has lots of stories in it. What Coach J has done is that he used many historical examples. Oprah appears throughout the book, Mandela appears as well, Theodore Roosevelt appears as well, but it's not about the stories, it's about the learnings from the stories, because these stories are not decoration. They place the ideas he's presenting in the real pressure from real world scenarios. Mandela, he rebuilt identity in confinement. Oprah rebuilt voice after deep trauma. These were not comfortable conditions, but these stories matter because pressure clarifies truth. And that's how when you realize, right? And that's when you see what holds under strain. You see what collapses first. This makes the lessons in this book pretty much transferable. You do not need fame, you only need pressure, surprisingly enough, right? Now, let me talk about the book's layout. The book's layout supports the approach that Jason is so articulate about. The font is actually large and readable. The page is, I would be honest, I would say it just breathes visually. The sentences are short, direct, snappy. The prose flows like spoken thought, right? And I'm sure Jason would agree with that way of thinking. This book could have been 300 pages, I must be honest. And coach, I hope you don't mind me saying this. It becomes 500 plus pages because I think it's a stylistic choice that Coach J took. The layout, however, I must be honest, respects fatigue. Short sentences, it respects limited attention, right? It invites steady reading without you having to get lost. And to be honest, reading doesn't sound like a difficult thing, right? The layout is not about fatigue, it's about attention, and it's very steady when you are reading it, particularly when you're reading it during a hard thought process or hard season that you're going through. Now, let's talk about, I would say, six core ideas that I picked up from the book. Idea number one: crisis is construction. Coach J reframes crisis completely differently. He does not treat crisis as failure. Crisis, he argues, strips comfort and false identity. Titles and roles lose importance, only structure remains. And most people try to escape crisis, and this book does something very odd. It actually asks you to face it head on. Crisis reveals what was never built. Careful. A hard season exposes weak foundations. That information is valuable. It shows what needs rebuilding. Water receding and exposing the hull of a ship is critical, right? Crisis becomes a training environment. And here's the fun part: that pain that you're feeling during a crisis is actually the instruction. And that instruction leads to this identity which forms under pressure. Could you interesting? I like it. Idea number two: resilience is a whole system. Resilience is not mindset alone. Mental toughness is not enough. Coach J defines resilience as systemic. It includes mental strength, of course, but it also includes emotional regulation. Physical health matters deeply, and Coach kept talking about it during my podcast. He also brings in spiritual grounding, and he claims that spiritual grounding stabilizes meaning, and my wife agrees with him. Creativity supports adaptation, and that's when he pivots. Most professionals train their thinking only, the body and emotions get ignored. Diet Coke and cigarettes, ladies and gentlemen. Pressure finds those gaps very quickly. It does. Burnout often starts physically. Your breathing shortens, your energy drains very quietly. You feel it, right? And Coach J argues that resilience requires balance across systems. It's not about perfection, it's about maintenance. Idea number three that I really want to pick from the book is winning includes recovery and awareness. Let's talk about this. And this is very interesting. Coach J defines winning very clearly. Winning, however, also includes effort and completion. Most cultures stop there. And honestly, that is where decay begins. Recovery restores capacity over time, and awareness detects this collapse early. Without recovery, stress will only compound, and it'll compound silently. You won't even feel it. And without awareness, warning signs will get missed. That's just human nature. Your performance will erode without any announcement or fanfare. And guess who feels this the most? High performers, ambitious individuals, people living the hustle life. Here's the reality though, this applies beyond work. Families feel it too. Health reflects it very early, honestly. Winning without recovery is incomplete. And here's the fun part, longevity in both career and your profession and your health requires you to do both. Number four, collapse sends signals early. Collapse does not arrive suddenly, right? It announces itself early though. Breathing becomes shallow, your body tightens, your attention is very narrow, there's some stress, something in the system. Options feel limited because you're not thinking clearly, right? And now comes the best part, people react instead of choosing because you're not in the mental state to do that. This is where Coach J teaches pause as a skill set. Pause creates space for choice. Choice restores control. This matters before meetings. This matters during conflict. This matters under pressure. Ignoring signals makes collapse louder whenever later, perhaps. Noticing it early, however, preserves stability. And this is very important. Let's move on to idea number five. He talks about GAS, gratitude, awareness, stillness. He introduces GAS as a practice. Gratitude stabilizes perspective, it grounds you during stress. Awareness tracks internal state, it notices your breathing, your tension, your emotion, the body, the physical. Stillness shows the nervous system, it restores clarity under pressure. I would like to position it as follows: GAS is not philosophy, it is actually daily regulation practice. I really think it's a matter of habits that protect your resilience. And honestly, these things that I read in Coach J's book, I feel will work in any profession. And honestly, they'll work in any season, rising water, falling water, whatever. Let's start wrapping up. The last idea I wanted to talk about is pressure reveals identity. I think this is the quietest message of the book. Pressure reveals who you're becoming. You do not rise during crisis, you're exposed to it. Thank you, James Clear. Coach J does not promise comfort, he's promising clarity. And I really think he does a great job of putting that out there. Look, daily structure shapes identity, repeated behavior builds authority. And this book is about durability. It is about, as Coach J calls it, inner construction. Pressure will continue in life, that part is guaranteed. Change is the only constant. Your internal system decides the outcome. And that is a real lesson that I am taking away from Win Your Day. I really would like to thank Coach Jay for a great podcast and a really awesome book. It was great fun reviewing this. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.